Welcome to the Invincible CEO channel. My name is Dede and I am the Invincible CEO, and I am the last, most fun, exciting, new, old manifestation coach you will ever need, because we manifest with ease here on the Invincible CEO channel. Because manifestation is simple, easy, and fun. I'm a big kid at heart, and I try to bring the joy and the play and the ease and the back into manifestation for you. So whether you're brand new or you've been doing this for a while, this is the place for you. This video, as all the videos, are just for you. And this is from our client win series, because the Invincible CEO clients are winning. They're winning big, and they're winning all the time. So it is with great pleasure that I get to introduce to you one of my favorite clients ever. She's so much fun. She was introduced to the Invincible CEO universe, went back when we had a 2-day event a couple of years ago, and we've worked together in many different capacities. And I know you are going to absolutely love and adore her, because I do. And the very fact that her story is absolutely freaking amazing. So if you're ready to see what it's like to go from a jump off character into your wish fulfilled, let me take no further ado than to introduce one of my favorite characters. Lovely. One of my favorite clients, and she is quite a character if I decide to leave that in. One of my favorite clients, Jane Kifer. Here she comes. Dun, dun, dun. Instant manifestation.
I love it. One of my favorite characters. Okay.
Yes, you are.
You're a character in mine.
We're all characters, right? Welcome,
right.
welcome. So I love your heading: thriver, magic maker, dreams come true, true human. Love it, absolutely love it. So I'm going to turn this over to you, and you can give a little introduction of yourself, where you were, where you are now, and then we'll take everybody on the wonderful journey with us.
All right. I guess I'm going to save the introduction of myself for later, because I think the journey's sort of interesting of where I am today.
Okay.
And that's funny, right? Like how we talk about ourselves and what we say. But I'll just say this. A friend said to me, how I found you, Dede, and your program. A friend said to me, hey, Jane, check this out. Like, she has a few other things, which I've found very enjoyable as well. And then you come along, and I had just said to myself, like, I need a new teacher, like for my own life. And she goes, hey, check this out randomly. And I see your things and I see this stuff. And I was like, what? Who is this person? What? I don't understand all the, funny graphics and funny. And I was like, what? Bodybuilding. And I thought, okay, but she's fascinating. Like, wait a second. So then I took a deep dive of anything I could Google and any content I could find anywhere. And then I joined your Facebook page, and I was like invited into the playground, the magical playground, and just sort of absorbed any content that I could, and went down all rabbit holes of every attachment and any link and anything I could ever get my hands on. And it blew my mind. And I did all the worksheets, and I did all the work and all of the things. And I wrote down everything that you said for months. And then there was a 2-day event. And my friend who introduced me to you said, there's this 2-day event. Do anything you can do. Even if you can show up for an hour, show up for an hour. Like, you should try it. And I was like, okay. So I show up, and I ended up being able to do the full 2 days. I sort of carved that out and made a commitment to it because it sounded pretty special and cool. And you were cool. I think even before the 2-day event, you did like an intro call, just to like a 10, 15-minute intro call. And you had said things in our intro call, right? And you had said things in that intro call that were so specific to things in my life. Like, I think there was a pink elephant, there was Philadelphia, like there were all of these very specific things that you said that were very active in my life at that moment. And I thought, okay, I'm listening. And then we did the 2-day event, which was quite profound and wonderful, and exercises of, I don't know, it feels a little cliche to say manifesting exercises, but it is what it was. And I think then I went on and did the 3-month energetic. I thought, I need more. I want to do more one-on-one. Was the 3-month energetic series?
It was a 3-month energetic forecast program. Yes.
So we met once a week, but I had cards I had to focus on each week. And it was like very tailored to me. And I loved having the booklet. I love the booklets, the tools. I love all of that, because I like to respond to things, and it's helpful if I can like lay it out and be asked a question and respond and sort of sit with all of that.
Yeah.
So, and you challenge every single part of everything that we are. And, you know, in one of our first calls, you're like, okay, what do you want? And so, you know, our small little ones are like, I don't know, maybe like blah, 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 blah. It's like something so small. And then you think like so big. And then you're like, okay, I don't know. Can I have $250,000? How about $400,000? Like, I don't know how do we play the game? So that sort of like gets put out there, and somehow it goes on a little magic cart through all of the channels it's supposed to go to. And I think the exercises that we do, I mean, I joke, but it's like, I feel the need to I want to keep paying you because your teachings keep paying me. Like it's really like the dividends, and what you open in our brains is hard to describe to people, because, you know, when you say, no, you don't have to figure out how something's coming. It could come in a unicorn truck in a dumpster on your door. That's a hard conversation for people to have. They're like, what? That sounds ridiculous. But all of the exercises that we do that sound ridiculous and make us uncomfortable, and, you know, whether it's spinning in circles or buying things online, like what, you know, you're like, what? Like this is, and you realize where your blocks are because you're like so impeded against thinking that's even an option. It changes.
Yeah, that's so powerful that you just said that. That is exactly the point of bringing you to what you believe your blocks are that you've created.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And where you're like, well, that's ridiculous. And then it's like, okay, well, who cares if it's ridiculous? Like, and then you realize the ways in which we limit things can come in all the time. Yes. And that is what blew open. So, and the imagination, like whenever I feel a little stuck, or I'm like, hey, just why don't you there actually is this parallel reality. So what's happening there? And that just, the parallels cross over at a certain point, and they're all the same. So the journey, I'll say, in terms of the intro, when I met you, I was fine, but I wanted more. You know,
there's that word, fine.
Right.
Fine,
and I don't even know if I had that job at that point, or I was transitioning to a job, but I had this decent job that I loved. It checked a lot of boxes. It didn't check all of the boxes. It checked most of the boxes. It checked great boxes, but it wasn't all the things. And life can be bigger and even bigger. And so in all of this playing, we joke when someone joins a Facebook page, we're like, welcome to the playground, because someone said it to me, and it's just true. It's like the magical playground.
So would you agree that I'm just a big kid?
Oh,
big kid disguised cleverly as an adult.
And you're a big sister, because if we're like being our little, like, I can't, blah, 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 you're like, why? You're like, I don't know. You're scaring me now. I mean, in the sense of this is scary.
Yeah.
This is scary. Yeah. So then, I don't know, the world just sort of kept lining up in more and more ways. It could be small, like someone left a lottery ticket on my doorstep, literally. It was like, it could be little things like this, like, and there were small things that it was magic manifestation, but it's almost like what I could handle. I think it was at the level that I could handle. And I love your phrase, like, what is it? It's not, are you worthy? It's, are you ready? And I've used that with many people, because it's here and we like keep it over there. So various things happened, which I will share. And now I'm in grad school and I own a restaurant. Before, I had a job that I loved and I intended to have it forever. And then I didn't have that job, but seemingly out of the blue, like through the bubble, where's the thing? Came handed to me. Where's my hand? There, got handed to me. I got an inheritance I had absolutely no idea would ever exist in my life. Like, that wasn't on the ticket.
But let me say that you were practicing allowing abundance to come in any form it showed up prior to all of that.
Yes.
You were open. Yeah.
Not judging it, acknowledging it, being in but there's a point where, you know, we live so much in the parallel universes that they're all the same. So that feeling of having, I lived in all the time because I do have it. I did have it. It's like, it's all the time everywhere. So it just was. So then there wasn't the wanting anymore because you're just
Yeah.
in it. And that's when it's here.
Can
So
you share the little difference between desiring, wanting, desiring, and like having? What that means for you? How you know the difference now?
um, I think wanting is from a place of lack, of that you don't have something. Desiring is from a place of excitement. And that's the important difference, because we are supposed to want things and be excited about things and have them. I think the things that we want in the excited desire way is what's trying to come into us as well. We're supposed to have it. But
Yeah.
that wanting of like, oh, I really want blah, blah, blah. It's like you say, always say that the feeling in your stomach, the feeling in your body, the feeling in which you're doing that is actually the creation. So if your creation, excuse my dings, if my creation of wanting is from a place of lack, more lack's coming. And if the creation of wanting is from excitement, it's here. So
Yeah.
it just sort of, I lived in that and it felt better. It just feels better, you know, and my nervous system was calmer. And I thought, well, you know, the old ways of being scared is, the old ways of being scared didn't consume me. And the imaginative, the least I could do was sit and play with imagination. If I didn't know what to do, I'd play with imagination. Or like you said, if it's really bad, go to neutral. But then out of the blue, I was handed a restaurant and someone in my family died and I received some money. And it was just like, okay, I'm listening.
And if I remember the story correctly, weren't you asked to take the restaurant several times and you kept turning it down?
There was a first time and I said yes, but again, it wasn't the parameters of what I wanted. I didn't want it the way, and I was like, no, that's not, I don't want it like that. Right. And I let it go. And I had a feeling that the person would come back, and they did earlier than I thought. And they were like, well, do you still want this? And I said, I never didn't want it. I'm just not playing that game.
Right.
And it all happened very fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Because what's yours can never miss you or be taken away. Even if you say no to it, it will come back around.
Right.
And you're living proof of that. Yeah. On your terms. Always on your terms. And that's God's.
Yes. No, it's very true. And same with school. Like there's just, and then I got into grad school also. Like it all sort of happened at the same time. And then I don't tell everybody everything, even though now this is going to be live to the world. But like, I don't want people's limiting faces to be like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to, I'm like, I don't always talk about it because it's what I want, what I'm excited about. And I know I can and am doing it.
What are you in school again? Remind me what you're in school for.
For applied linguistics.
And what are you going to do with that?
Ultimately, there's sort of a threefold idea of teaching executives English all over the world, because I know business and then language, teaching in other countries to live and be in the culture with people that I've always wanted to live in my life. And ultimately, when I'm old to teach high school, because I think that's important to be with teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, which I haven't really shared with you lately, is now that all this wonderful goodness comes in, you know, part of me at first is like, oh, this is enough. I'm good. But now then it's like, okay, what's next? What's the next step? What do you want, Jane? What do you want? It's a playground. What do you want? Genie in a bottle. What do you want? So that's like a fun game to play. And I make myself sit down and sort of list stuff, play.
So what's on the list?
The restaurant runs itself and I travel. So I just started to do it. I'm like, so right on the board that I'm going to Italy. And everyone's like, oh, you're going to Italy? Because when I wrote it on the board, I'm like, I'll book the ticket if I write it on the board and I take the days. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone if they're watching this video and they're on the fence about getting coaching with me or doing any of the programs? What would you say to them?
I would say there's a degree where that person has probably looked at all of your content. If they haven't, go look at all the content out there because you get a real idea if it's going to work for you or not.
Yeah.
And then if they're at the point where they're still not sure, that's just their fears, you know. And I know, like you said to me, I was like, oh, I don't have that $600 or I don't have that blah, blah, blah. But I do. It's like, how am I choosing to spend it? But I wasn't aware that I did. And you even said, you're like, sign up, you're going to find it. And that's a leap of faith. And it's a scary leap of faith. And it feels like, oh, is that being irresponsible? But the thing is, we live in so much of our fears that hold us back all the time. And even if that leap, like, that's not a leap of faith that's going to take you down. So like, it's a leap of faith. I found the money, literally realized there was an account I had that I did not remember that I had. And I think I had $100 in my
just love when that happens, an account that you had.
There was an account. I realized I had put like an Acorns account that I had $500 in. And between my dresser money and you said, you're going to find it in pants, you're going to find it in the laundry. And I was like, okay, let's play the game. And you really have to suspend your own beliefs. And, you know, like it's not like, oh, believe what Dede's saying. It's not that. It's just playing. It's playing with your own limitations. And, you know, how great if you can be open enough that someone can say to you, you're being limiting by not thinking a unicorn could deliver money on your doorstep. You know, it's like, but a logical brain is like, but that makes no sense. But it actually does make sense because like there's quantum realities and who really knows actually. Yeah. And I think a lot of the shows that we were talking about, like the Anything Anywhere All the Time, is that what it's called? Everything Everywhere
All at Once. Yeah.
That and the other Amazon series, I forget what that one was called too.
Undone.
They're weird. They're totally weird. And I was like, this is not my type of show or television, but it opens your mind and it blows your mind. And then you see that stuff more and everywhere. And it's sort of like, oh, there's this whole other way of thinking and this whole other veil that opens up these things but beyond that, what we don't allow ourselves, like our own perception is very limiting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's so fun. And so I'm grateful all the time. And I mean, grateful in a way of like, oh my God, thank God. Like, thankfully I had this experience with you and just all the things that line up for opening your understanding and perception to just consider it could be a different way.
Yeah.
Consider it could be 10 different ways.
Yeah.
You know, and I would like to say the whole, because like, you know, buying things with money you don't have, that sounds totally irresponsible. And people, I would hear it would be like, what? Like that, why would anyone put your life on the line to go into debt? That's not what this is. Trust me.
Right.
You are not spending any of your money. You are spending your money, but you're not spending your money. People will be like, what?
You're spending your money in your imagination.
Yeah. And like actually actively shopping and booking things with a card that is, you know, a gift, random knocking card expired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even that was terrifying. And then that.
So let me explain what that was. One of the exercises that I said to do was to either go into Amazon or go shop for a trip to wherever you want to go and actively do it like you would do it. And when it comes time to pay, take an old expired credit card or make up some numbers and put it in, knowing ahead of time that it was going to come back, declined, right? But it's the fact that you were going through with it. And that's what your subconscious mind understands.
And all the fears then that come up, you're like, wow, how limited am I?
And that goes with the question that I ask people, are you safe in your own imagination? Because all of this is imagined. Whether you're closing your eyes and doing it, or you're at your restaurant running it, that's your dream. You are living your dream. You are imagining it in real time. So if I even asked myself for the past couple of days, I'm like, if I could imagine anything, is this really what I want to be imagining right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're in that good girl, good boy syndrome. We're afraid to get sent to the principal's office, even as grown ass adults.
Mm-hmm.
That we're afraid that somebody's going to jump out of the wall with some handcuffs, lock us up, and take us away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what was it feeling like when you were facing that fear and you were doing that exercise? What did it feel like within you?
I felt like I trusted the process enough to do it.
Right.
And but I was terrified. Like all limiting everything came up. I felt like I was going to viscerally plummet myself financially. Even though it was all pretend, I was in visceral fear that like it was going to somehow take it out of all my banks, even though I didn't even have that kind of money in my bank. Like,
and you know what's interesting? Looking back, all the people that I know that did the exercise have had exponential growth, financial windfall, life-changing, and all the people that were in the group that didn't do it had very little growth.
Interesting.
Because they were afraid of being caught or doing something wrong.
It's scary.
Yep. They were afraid.
Or your brain's like, oh, that's dumb or that's ridiculous. Like, what is that? You call that that thing in your brain? Like
the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper. The gatekeeper.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper. Yeah.
Like, oh, but you're safe over here in your dysfunction. What are you doing? Hold on. What are you doing?
Don't leave your dysfunction.
Yeah. It's safer in your dysfunction. You know it so well. You've been doing it for 50 years.
Because the moment that you push enter, you're going to have the police at your door and they're going to arrest you.
Right. So I want to say the other thing is I find very interesting is in addition to the exercises, but also like the meditations that we did, I think I had a huge sense in the one meditation, I think it was at the end of one of the 2-day events where I just like rushed. It was like I went to 5 places at once at the end, and it was everything that I've ever wanted for my life. And I was doing it all at the same time. And I had this huge sense in this realm. I was like, oh, I already have it. Like I literally already have it. I never felt like I was in a wanting state again. There are things I wanted or needed, like, oh, I need some clothing for this or like dumb stuff. But I never felt like I couldn't have or didn't have anything. And from that moment on, it just all like unfolded because I never didn't have it. I always have it. And whether I see it here or now has no relevance to me having it or not. And it's such a core feeling that is very different from how I functioned prior that in my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you, do you want to share your restaurant? Do you want to tell people where to, what's that?
I said, oh.
Yes. And make sure you're going to give me all the links and everything, and I'll put that in the description box if they're ever in your area to come out and see you. You are now YouTube famous.
That's funny.
Where can we find you?
What? My restaurant? First of all, I'll say I also make jewelry. So we'll say that. That's Pink Jane Company on Instagram. And it's just mostly one-of-a-kind pieces. You buy directly from me. I send it to you. But my restaurant is in Portland, Oregon, and it's in Multnomah Village, and it's called Zinc Bistro and Bar. And it's like Pacific Northwest Italian French food.
I see the pictures and I'm like,
so good.
Yeah, I will be coming out to visit, by the way. Yay. So, okay, say it again. Your jewelry company's name is?
Pink Jane Company.
Okay.
And the restaurant is Zinc Bistro and Bar in Portland, Oregon. It's a 14-table restaurant. It's super cute on the corner in this tiny little village.
And you're going to give me all the links to put in the description box below. So if you're interested in learning more about Jane's offerings, you can find them in the description box. And you can reach out to her and let her know that you found her through the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. And any last parting things that you'd like to share with anyone watching, if they're in that beginning stage where you once were, what would you say?
The first thing that comes to mind is just go get it. Go get it. Go get it all. We're supposed to have the things that we want in the positive side of the want. We're supposed to have the things we want. What we're jealous of, what we're excited about. We're supposed to have all of those things. So go get them. Allow them to come in.
Absolutely.
Allow yourself to have them all.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here today, taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you. I love all the wins. I love when I get messages from you because I just know that it's going to be another
And I'm
win.
like, are you available for a call? I have something to tell you.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited, all the yeses and all the different changes that have been in your life, how so exciting for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today, for taking time, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Well, there you go, my friends. Another wonderful, amazing Invincible CEO client sharing her wins, winning big, winning all the time. And I think the most important thing that she mentioned today was working together really allowed her to open up, to understand that she was the one putting her own blockages in. Because when you do the exercises that we do in our 1 and 2 day events and in my training programs, you begin to see how there's no one outside of you actually stopping you. It's just these echoes, these thoughts that come in that say you can't do that because you're breaking the rules, or you can't do that because it's never been done before, or you can't do that for whatever reason. So if you are in that stage where you know that you've taken yourself as far as you can go and look at all that's happened, and the really nice thing about the way Jane's story unfolded is that it seemed like it was so natural that it was going to happen that way anyway. And for that version of her, that's absolutely true. But for the initial version that came in that had all of those fears, had she not opened up and allowed the goodness of this world to come to her, because she is the universe, she is the world, and you heard it in her own words, that the old version of her would not be living the life that she's living now. And the most important thing with the restaurant is she was offered the restaurant, and as much as she wanted it, she was willing to say no because it wasn't the way that she wanted it to go down. And when she opened up, that new version of her, a new offer was made, and it was exactly what it was that she wanted, that she could not say no. So this is the power that we have within ourselves. So if you are inspired by Jane's story or any of the other wonderful client stories that we put up, and there'll be another one next week at Saturday at 2 p.m., take a look in the description box below and schedule your clarity consult, because it all started with just a brief conversation. And I know you're watching the videos. I know you're enjoying being here. If you haven't joined our wonderful manifestation community, which Jane calls the fun playground, the manifesting playground, highly recommend that you do so. And let's take time, get to know each other a little bit, and see how I can help you win big, and win all the time, because it's already here for you. It's already done. You just have to say yes and invest in yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Please like the video, share with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, that would be absolutely amazing. And if you're interested in the other client wins video, take a look on your screen right now. It's here for you. Enjoy.